Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Diablo 4 video, and I wanted to talk about a couple of things when it comes to not really criticism, but more like feedback, because I'm actually very happy and excited for Season 4 with the changes coming in. The topic at hand is actually going to be about the itemization progression path and its longevity, and I guess enjoyment to some degree as well. Now, Season 4 seems to be they're going to be fixing a fundamental core problem with the game. The real question we're going to ask ourselves is it going to be enough? Obviously, this will need to go through some iterations, balance changes, and whatnot to reach a good state. So I wanted to bring up to speed and discuss or vocalize my take on this entire process. And the best way to do that is to look at what is the itemization changes that they've done, and how will they impact the progression of you playing. Now, to fully understand this, we have to keep in mind that Adam Jackson in the interview in my Tavern Talk podcast that I have with Darth Micro, he said when I asked him about where does the end game actually start, because they want to focus or cater the game and the changes to the casual players, but also end game players, which is everybody wants to do that. And their definition is that the end game players, their focus will be from level 50 plus or when they enter World Tier 4. And with that definition in mind, let's look at the item progression changes and what is happening to the path and longevity of this. So without me throwing around words and ranting, let's get into it. Modifiers such as damage on Tuesdays are gone, and most other type of things like their conditional modifiers are gone. Instead, we have a streamlined approach where you get attributes, you get life, you get armor, you get pure damage stuff. It's very, very simple when it comes to the modifiers available in gear pieces, and this is also then further improved through master crafting, greater affixes, and tempering. Now, tempering is one of the main ways for us, to modify our gear in terms of modifiers to enhance the build and make it better, but it comes at a match cost and whatnot. So if you look at World Tier 1 and 2, which is going up to the level 35, 40, some casual approaches might do the capstone level 45 maybe, or maybe even later, I'm not sure. But that progression with the recent changes have been sped up so much, especially with the current approach everyone's going to run Health Tide. We're going to get tons of items. I'm going to level very fast. This essentially means that your item progression is going to be, you drop an item. If you have a lower rarity one on that slot, you're just going to equip it. Doesn't matter what it has. When you have a rare item, you drop another rare or legendary, you're going to look at the item, and basically, if that item has higher item level, you're going to equip it, because most of this item is going to come with your main attributes and your life modifiers in almost every case. This means that your item progression is essentially going to be very short-lasting bursts of improvements. You drop an item, and then 5 minutes later, you're going to drop one that is better, and now you just replace it because it's higher item power, because you're leveling so fast. This is then escalated to a whole new level, because once you're done with World Tier 2, you do the capstone, and you go into World Tier 3, where you can get sacred gear available to be equipped at level 35. Every single item that you drop that is not sacred on your equipment will now be replaced with sacred gear. Doesn't matter, they're just going to be straight up better. The only exception to this is if you have like a legendary power that you must have and you don't have the materials to reapply that. The problem is your entire gear set is now completely voided, making it completely irrelevant to invest time and effort to temper and craft your gear in World Tier 1 and 2. There's no point. And there's no possibility for having tempering craft and modifiers have an impact large enough to make or break your success rate on defeating the capstone dungeon. So now that we're in World Tier 3, the problem here is that, again, we're replacing all the non-sacred gear with sacred gear and the high item power. But we're still going to spend a very short time in this world tier if you're blasting. If you're casual, I guess you're spending a lot more time, and that's fine. Level progression is so much, it's increased to the point where even the casual players are going to level very quickly, which means that your upgraded items are not going to last very long. 10 minutes later, you're going to replace that item again. Again, making the idea of tempering these items completely irrelevant and not really interesting. However, based on Adam Jackson's response of the definition of endgame for late game replayability and longevity for the blasters is happening in World Tier 4. So let's fast forward to what happens in World Tier 4. Exact same thing as the start of World Tier 3. All our sacred gear is now going to be replaced with ancestral gear. Just like that. It's just better. Just equip it. Now we have some other type of progression that is introduced to a better state. Now, obviously, we will run glyphs, which you can do in World Tier 3 as well. Not super efficient, but you can if you want to. We're looking at unique farming for the endgame bosses, uber bosses for specific uber uniques and stuff like that. And master crafting becomes something you want to play with once you engage with the pit. The problem here is that If you're going to start investing your time and effort and currency or materials into your items to temporary craft them, they will not last very long until they're at the point where this will now last till I find that item with a greater affix. This happens at item power 925, the cap. This happens at Nightmare Dungeon 41. So the progression in the endgame right now is, instead of having a fun experience from 1 to 50, and I'm okay with that being fast one for the casual players. So let's ignore that part and look at 50 plus. The progression is literally get your character to the point where it is able to run Nightmare Dungeon 41, that tier. Then you're going to drop 925 items. Then you put temporary and crafts to spend the actual time of fully investing into upgrading that type of gear. That's where the funding starts. And I think that's going to be a really fun thing to play with once you're there. So my concern and feedback is this going to just make us feel like the progression of 1 to level 70, 80, 90 is just a check mark, similar to capping your resistances, similar to getting the armor cap? We're just in a position where we're going to be going through this chore. Check, 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 check. Oh, now I'm playing the game. Now I'm looking at the loot reborn changes with the itemizations and whatnot. And I am excited for it. I just feel like I'm concerned that I'm going to have this feeling that I'm just doing this because I have to. It's not fun. It's just a means to an end. Now I'm engaging and having fun with it, and that doesn't happen until I'm very high level. Sure, the progression there is fast, but is it a good way to do it? I don't even know how they would solve it. I wanted to vocalize my takes on this, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. So let me know, for those of you watching live right now on Twitch and YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, the video, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe and keep rocking.